So we all know the movie Hills Have Eyes, right? What if you had an encounter just like that was pretty real? So this girl is traveling alone in Texas and she gets off on this really, really deserted road and she hasn't seen a town forever. And next thing you know, she looks at the U-Haul that she's driving and it's almost on empty. And she's like, oh fudge, I need to fill up. So she finds this little town on the highway where she's at and it's like tiny little town, doesn't think too much of it, hurries up, fills up her fuel, and she's ready to go. And she's like, this is such a small town, like I'll be out in no time. Well, next thing you know, she's driving around this town over and over and over, just in circles. And she's like freaking out. She's like, what in the world? Like, I should be right back on the highway. I should be ready to go again. So finally she goes back to this gas station and she walks in and she talks to the guy that's working there. And she's like, hey, I don't know where I'm at. Can you help me figure out which way I need to go? And this guy has shaggy dark hair and he doesn't even look up. He's reading a magazine and he starts pointing and he says, you're going to go up this highway and you're going to go about 17 miles and that's where you're going to go. And she's like, how many miles? Like, I was just on the highway not even like 2 miles ago. Why would I go 17 miles out of the way? And he's like, that's where you need to go. Super, super rude. So she felt completely defeated and she was like, okay, like I guess I'm gonna have to go 17 miles out of the way to figure out how to get back on the highway. So she goes back out to the U-Haul and she literally just puts the keys in the car and just starts crying. She's scared. She's not sure what's going on. The guy in the gas station gave her really, really weird mixed signals. She's just completely alone. And all of a sudden, this guy shows up in this big beat up truck and he's big old rough Texas boy, cut off, like looks like he's just like oil filled. And she's like, hey, could you help me? And he, of course, looks at her and he's like, yeah, what's going on? And he can tell she's physically upset, like been crying, eyes are all red. And she's like, I don't know where I'm going. The guy in there says that I need to go 17 miles this way. And he says, wait a minute, do you have a map? And she's like, no, I don't. All I have is my MapQuest, because this is back in 2010. She says, all I have is my map, and this is what this guy's saying. And he's like, no, you're only going to go like half a mile up this way, giving her all these directions. So she looks at him, and he's like, who told you that you're going to go up the way? And she said, the guy in there working at the gas station. And he said, what does he look like? So she starts describing him a little bit, and he's got shaggy dark hair, needs a bath, like just kind of describing him the way that she sees him. And he says, well, do not go that way because the only thing you're going to run into is a bunch of broke down cars, a mobile home or two, and that's where his family lives. And you don't want to go out there because they're addicts, they're on alcohol, and they do all sorts of other things to people. So you definitely do not want to go 17 miles that way. She instantly is relieved and she's like, oh my God, thank you. I'm so glad you pulled up. She then gets in her U-Haul and heads her way. She later tells this story and she's in so much shock. She couldn't even remember the year that this happened. She was just blocked out so much because so much happened. But she to this day says, there is a big Texan in a cutoff in a rusty old truck. That is my guardian angel. I didn't get your name, but you are my guardian angel. So always trust your gut, just like this girl did.